actually do the chores for them, like pick up my
Okay.
all of it.
Let's focus. The young girl was overwhelmed at the differences of the adopted tribe. She joined a household and they gave her the name Sacagawea. After 4 years, she was given in marriage to Toussaint Charbonneau, a French-Canadian fur trapper. So, who do you think this is?
A Charbonneau?
Charbonneau, okay. Who's that, Sebastian? Sacagawea. Good job. The President of the United States was making plans for an expedition. The United States had just purchased a large piece of land that was unexplored. President Jefferson gathered a group of explorers and sent them to explore this new land. The land was sent from the Mississippi. The land went from the Mississippi River to the Pacific Ocean. The leaders of this expedition were
What's it? Shore?
who were the leaders of the expedition?
Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark.
Lewis and Clark.
Captain Meriwether Lewis and Captain William Clark. The expedition will begin in St. Louis, Missouri. So where do you think this is?
In the ocean. St. Louis.
St. Louis. This is the St. Louis River, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is the boat they probably traveled on. Sacagawea had heard rumors that a fierce and awesome white man with black skin was among the crew members. This was York, the slave of Captain Clark. Sacagawea's husband Charbonneau proposed that the explorers hire him as a guide and interpreter. He would guide the explorers and Sacagawea would be the interpreter for the Shoshone Indians. Sacagawea was pregnant when she heard the news of the trip. Sacagawea had her baby and she named him Pompey. In April, the journey started. While the men stayed in the boat, Sacagawea walked on the riverbank to gather plants to keep the crew healthy. So what's she doing?
Oh,
Bryson, what's she doing?
picking up plants.
Picking up plants and what else? What else
She
did
got
she
that baby behind her back.
Exactly. Good job. After 2 months of traveling, the boat tipped over from choppy waters and high wind. All the crew's valuables spilled overboard. All the crew became confused and frightened, but Sacagawea remained calm. She swam and rescued all the crew's important things: journals, gunpowder, medicine, and scientific supplies. Without these things, the trip could not have kept going. The crew named the river after Sacagawea, since she saved the expedition.
Oh, that when she went to when the boat tipped over, she went to save the medicine and then.
She saved everything, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Just a second, let me get the charger. Y'all keep looking at the picture to see if you can find anything.
Oh, got it. She said, oh. I got it.
Fashion, what can you tell me?
When the boat tipped over, she said, oh, the supplies.
She saved all the supplies. And what did that do for the trip?
Oh,
Daya? Did it save the trip?
mm-hmm.
Oh, so they keep on going.
It kept on going. Good job. Okay. During July, the crew made it to the land of the Shoshone people. Sacagawea recognized it immediately. After 2 weeks of traveling, Sacagawea spied men on horseback, and she leaped with happiness. The explorers were greeted when they reached the Shoshone camp. Sacagawea's people recognized her and were overcome with joy at her return. She soon discovered that her brother was the chief of the tribe. He wept when he saw her. Okay, Laisha, who do you think this is? Laisha. Who do you think this man is after reading this passage? Help us here. Who do you think he is? Huh? Her brother, good job. Sacagawea and the crew spent 1 month with the Shoshone tribe. The Shoshone provided explorers with horses to continue on their journey. Eventually, the expedition emerged on the Pacific side of the Rocky Mountains. There, the Nez Perce Indians helped them make a new boat and kept the explorers' horses. See? Here's the horses. What tribe do you think this is? Natalie? What tribe do you think this Indian belongs to?
The doctor?
Mm-mm.
Amazonian.
No. Pay attention when we read, okay?
And
Sebastian?
Lewis and Clark.
This is probably Lewis or Clark. What Indian is this?
The
I'll reread
Shoshone.
it. There, the Nez Perce Indians helped them make a new boat and kept the explorers' horses. This is probably a Nez Perce Indian because they're taking the horses, okay? In November, the crew finally reached the Pacific Ocean. They camped out on the shore throughout the winter. In the spring, the crew prepared for their journey back home. When the crew made the long journey and were finally Making the final journey back to St. Louis, Captain Clark offered to take Pompey back to the St. Louis with him so he could get a good education and raise him as his own son. Sacagawea told him thank you, but she could not let him go since he was only 2 years old.
Oh.
So how do you think this man is? Sean?
He wanted to take Pompey back to
St. Louis?
St. Louis and raise him as his own son.
Why would he do that?
Cause he wanted to have an own son.
Oh, well, that too, but what do you think? What do you think, Karen? Why do you think he wanted to take Poppy back to St. Louis instead of go back with Sacagawea? Pasha? A good education. Good job.
What's a good education?
School. He wanted him to be able to come to school like y'all.
Ooh.
If he would go back with Sacagawea, they don't think they have schools there. He wanted Pompey to get a good education. On August 17th, 1806, Sacagawea watched as the explorer set off towards St. Louis. Her journey was over, but the crew still had hundreds of miles to go. And that's all.
Well, I know what that.
What?
She didn't reach the Pacific Ocean and they went back.
They found the Pacific Ocean and they went back.
And the others had 100 miles to go.
They
and
dropped Sacagawea and Pompey off, and probably Charbonneau off at their home place, but the explorers still had
He went back.
Sacagawea went back to the social school.
Huh? No, I think she went back to where they lived the first time with Hidatsa.
And Sacagawea went quit traveling with them.
Yeah, she quit traveling with them once they got to the Hidatsa tribe again.
Cause she was tired.
Okay. Now I want the first table to go back to your seat quietly. Okay, second table. And the last table. Now, someone raise your hand and tell me if this prediction was true or false. Sean?
Yes,
It
true.
was. Cite evidence from the store. Where did she travel to?
To the Pacific Ocean.
Travel to the Pacific.
Oh, I know what's on. I know what's on.
Okay, Sierra, what about this one? She helped Lewis and Clark.
Yes,
Yes? Cite evidence from the story.
because
What did she help them do? What's one thing she helped?
She helped him get to
she
the
helped them
horse.
travel to the.
Now don't use this one. Okay, Dad help her.
Buy horses.
They got horses.
I got another one. I got another one.
Okay?
Oh.
This one kind of ties into this one, so we don't have to do that. Okay? Got horses from the Shoshone tribe. Jamari? That's true or false? Sacagawea get horses from the Shoshone tribe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Cite evidence.
He got.
Tasha? Cite evidence that she helped get horses.
Gave him horses.
Shoshone gave them horses. Why were they able to communicate with the Shoshone?
Oh, cause they didn't know their language.
Who knew the language?
Sacagawea.
Good job. Okay.
Yay! You
Now,
made 100?
yeah, I made 100 on that. I'm proud of you.
Yay!
Okay, I'm going to pass out a sheet, and you're going to work together as a group on it, okay?
Yay!
Don't start on it until I tell you. You can assign one person to write.
Alright. Alright.
Okay. Now, what is this? We've used it before.
It's a concept
Concept chart?
Concept.
Concept chart?
Yeah.
She said they're round. Which one? Oh, I got pencil. I don't need it.
Does everyone have a pencil? Whoever's writing needs a pencil. up. What do you think we're gonna put there?
The title.
The title, or what was the whole story about?
Down to the what?
So, okay. I don't want anybody to write yet. Okay, we're just gonna go through it first. Okay. Now, what do you think we're gonna put in these boxes? You have to guess.
Evidence
Evidence of what?
from the passage.
We're gonna write details from the passage, like what happened. Okay. Hang on just a second. Get it.